Hey everyone, it's Danny. Thanks for checking out episode 15 of my journey. I know it's been a while since I posted one, but I've been adding a few things to the website, and I realized, you know what, I should post an update to see, you know, people can see where I'm at right now in terms of my journey as a brain tumor fighter. Before we get to that, I want to talk about a new page that I added to the website. It's called Upcoming, and it's just basically listing shows and events that I'm going to be involved in that are going to be, relevant to my journey as a brain tumor fighter, my journey as a musician, my journey as a TV show host, and whatever. Just it's just another fun page where I can put some information to keep you up to date with what's going on. A couple of events that are coming up that are very near and dear to me. First one is coming up on Saturday, October 19th, as I sit here trying to remember the dates. Saturday, October 19th, I'm going to be participating in the third annual Sacramento Brain Freeze. And that's where people form teams, they raise money, we jump into Lake Neuroma, and money goes to the National Brain Tumor Society. It's an organization that I've been very much appreciative of. I met a lot of great people through the National Brain Tumor Society, in particular, people in the Sacramento area that I've had a chance to meet. That is happening on, as I said, Saturday, October 19th. I've gotten a little more involved with it this year. I'm on the planning committee. And so usually when I'm involved in some sort of committee that's putting on events, I try and weasel in a couple of my passions. Number one being music, and number two, professional wrestling. Um, as far as music, they've always had a band that plays there, and it's kind of a cover band. And I found out that they members of that band, they've been affected by whether it's members in the band or family members that are affected by brain tumors, and so I think it's really important for them to be involved in that. So I didn't want to step on anyone's toes or say, oh, you should book this band instead or book this band instead. But no, so I'm really glad they're playing. So that just opened up the avenue for professional wrestling. So last year my team consisted of a lot of professional wrestlers, and we all wore wrestling masks, and we were called the Brain Tumor Fighters, and we jumped in the water, and people were wondering who all these weirdos in wrestling masks were. But this year I have one of the wrestlers is on my team this year, and the other wrestlers they're going to be actually setting up a ring and performing at the event, and so it's going to be pretty awesome to see. So I've got on my news page, I've got a link to my team's page, and it has all the information for stuff like that. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really glad that we were able to bring wrestling to the event. And once again, I've said it before that wrestlers are some of the most awesome people that you'll ever meet. They're artists, they're athletes, and they're also punk rock in nature, meaning that they're willing to drive for hours and hours to do something for a handful of bucks because of the passion that they have for their craft. I'm pretty sure they're just coming out and doing this for free. Maybe they've asked for some help in terms of truck rental or whatnot. I'm not sure, but pretty sure that all of the wrestlers from Supreme Pro Wrestling are performing. I know that they're performing for free, and they're setting up the ring. They're going to be there at 7 a.m. setting up a wrestling ring, and it's just going to be awesome to have them there. So I'm really appreciative of those folks. And then after that, they're tearing down the ring, and they're going over to West Sacramento to set up the ring for a show that they're putting on over there. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Another thing that I'm involved with is something I've been doing for, I want to say a little over 20 years or so. I haven't been keeping track of it. It's a series of shows. Kids, cover your ears. And it's called Fuck Cancer. And on the upcoming page, I wrote a brief little story about the history of these shows. It started off with me a little over 20 years ago just wanting to put together a show to celebrate my birthday. And it was going to be a free show. It's at this venue called Capitol Garage. And I just wanted to make it free, have friends come out, stay hydrated. I apologize. I've been fighting a sore throat for the past 2 weeks. And then I had so much fun that I wanted to do another one. And then the next year, by the time the next year's show was going to start, I found out that a friend of mine was diagnosed with cancer. And this was a friend of mine who taught me so much about being an independent musician, about booking your own shows, and about taking care of bands that are on tour. And, he taught me things like you never have the touring band play first, you never have the touring band play last. You give them that sweet spot right in the middle. And when it comes time to pay out all the bands, touring band needs to be taken care of. He taught me a lot of that, things that now are common sense to me, but if I hadn't had someone like Jay Oniskin telling me those things, I would have never known. And so he taught me so much about independent music. And so I wanted that to be a fundraiser for him. And he was living in Japan at the time with his wife and kids, and I was just sending him the money from those shows. And we did that for the next few years. He ended up kicking cancer's ass, which was great. And he's living a great life. That's Johnny, my cat, meowing right now. I apologize for that. Actually, no. It's kind of soothing. In 2006, the shows took a much more meaningful turn for me because my father was diagnosed with cancer. And as I've said in my, if you go to About Me, I mention it there. When my father was diagnosed with cancer, it was a very aggressive form of brain cancer, and he died pretty much three months after he was diagnosed. And the doctors pretty much called everything. This is what it's going to be like during that first month. This is what it's going to be like during that second month. During the third month, this is what each and every week is going to be like. And it was like clockwork. It was so aggressive that they couldn't, surgery, radiate, nothing would have stopped it. At that point, cancer, I thought, had hit home with a friend of mine being diagnosed with cancer, but it really hit home there, losing my dad. From that point on, the birthday shows, I started calling him fuck cancer because I was pissed and I was angry. And I still am. And, and I've had people say, oh, it's kind of an offensive name. I'm like, I don't care. I'm offended by cancer. So if you're offended by a word, you deal with it. There was one year that I made shirts that said cancer sucks, but to me that kind of felt like you're kind of giving in, like, oh, woe is me. But I wanted to fuck cancers. I really wanted to give the middle finger to cancer. And it's interesting because I tell this story often when I was wearing a shirt that said fuck cancer on it. It was from every year we do shirts, and the proceeds from that goes to the American Cancer Society. And one time I was wearing a fuck cancer shirt, and I think that it was one of the ones that made it look like a Ramones shirt, but it said fuck cancer across it. And I'm shopping for groceries, and this sweet little grandmother lady comes walking up to me, and she's like, young man, that shirt. And she's poking me right in the chest, and I'm like, oh, she's going to chew me out right now for having a shirt that says fuck on it. And she was just like, I think that shirt is wonderful. I lost my husband. And she told me a story about losing her husband to cancer. And I thanked her for sharing that with me. I was just, oh, thank you. And I told her a little bit about the show, and I told her, why I do it. And she's like, well, you just keep wearing that shirt. And it was a sweet, sweet moment. And I forgot where I was going with this. But each and every year we do these shows. And I try and make the shows bigger and bigger each year, and it started off as just doing one show, and now it's become a series of shows. And this year it's a series of shows that starts on Wednesday, November 6th, goes to Thursday, November 7th, Friday, November 8th, and then on Saturday, November 9th, there are 3 shows going on at once. And it's one venue. There's a theater, there's a cafe that has a stage and a venue, and then there's another side venue to it. It's kind of the more gritty punk rock one. And I've got shows going on in each one. And in the theater, my band, The Moans, we get to be a backing band for one of my heroes, one of my musical inspirations, and we're going to be covering a bunch of the poppy love songs that he has written. And so, because normally when he tours, he plays all the thrashy, loud, songs, but I've always wanted to hear the poppy love songs. So, yeah, it's going to be a fun time. I'm going to really enjoy that. But Um, I guess the message I'm trying to get across with being involved in things is that's a big part of recovery. It's a big part of therapy is to get involved. And so, if there's any brain tumor fighters out there who have yet to get involved in doing something, give it a shot. If there's no active group in your area, I'm really lucky. We've got the Sacramento Brain Tumor Society. I've met a lot of people through that. But if you don't have one, just do something. Start a book club where everyone brings donations to either the National Brain Tumor Society, or if you're like me, the Acoustic Neuroma Association, or just find an organization. And maybe if you don't feel comfortable doing it for yourself, do it for something else. Do it for lost and stray animals or anything. Just find an organization, get involved in it. It's very therapeutic. It's part of the healing process. I started turning up the volume on those fuck cancer shows to help with getting over losing my dad, and I think about him every day, and it's meant a lot to me. In the weird way that things work out, as I've mentioned before, the cancer community has been extremely open and supportive. They've opened their arms to me, and they've been super supportive to me. The story that I told in an earlier episode of my journey is where I went to a brain tumor support group, and I was the only one there who didn't have cancer, and I felt like I didn't belong there. I mean, there's these people who have been fighting brain cancer, and in my opinion, they've gone through so much more than I've gone through. But don't get me wrong, acoustic neuroma is a scary thing, and it can be fatal. But still, I felt like I didn't belong there, and even though it wasn't a cancer support group, it was a brain tumor support group, and my friend who was the keynote speaker, I told her, I'm like, I kind of feel like I shouldn't be here because I don't have cancer, and she said, no, you belong here. There's no such thing as a good brain tumor. And I'll never forget, she said, you're one of us now. You're one of the cool kids. And I got all teary when she said that. And that welcoming was so important. So when you get involved, the more personal the organization that you get involved with, you're going to find support. You're going to find strength. So if you're watching this, if my goal is, by putting this out, that there's maybe one of you out there who's a brain tumor fighter and you don't know what to do and you're scared, there's lots of things that you can do in terms of getting medical help and seeking advice from doctors and all that, but there's also a lot of things you can do for yourself. And one of them is to get active, do things. You don't have to be a musician. You don't have to be a wrestler. Just get involved in some organization that's doing something good for your community. It's very therapeutic to do that. As I was saying, the cancer survivors in my neck of the woods really welcomed me and became a source of strength. And so I started realizing another reason why I want to keep doing these fuck cancer shows is to pay them back, to Liz, Courtney, and all of those people who are super supportive. I want to pay them back by putting on these shows and raising as much money as I can for the American Cancer Society. So as a thank you to them, that's even further inspiration for me to do this. All right, I'll try and stay hydrated and then cry it all out. Physically, coming to the end of October, and every 6 months I have my MRI, so I should be hearing from my doctor any moment now, any day now, about scheduling my next MRI. That's usually end of October, early November, end of May, beginning of June, or the times when I have my MRI. So that's going to be coming up soon. I'll probably post another episode of my journey leading up to that and after that. As far as how I'm feeling, balance is really becoming an issue. I'm having, I notice, especially when I'm playing guitar, I used to jump around a lot. I can't jump around anymore. I have to stand still. If I jump around, I'll fall over. I lose my balance. Um, Headaches are still there, still the ringing, still feeling plugged up. I notice that when I'm getting when I'm sick, when I'm getting like when if I'm getting a cold or a flu, the headaches are even much more severe, and my ear, as plugged up as it feels now, feels even more plugged up when I'm sick. So that's something that's a real pain in the ass to deal with. I've been trying to stay healthy, trying to stay active, trying to eat healthy. Although I haven't been going to the gym as often as I should, but going for walks every day. It's a great thing having dogs that you can take for walks. Um, but yeah, that's about where I'm at. Still still doing everything I can to stay healthy, stay hydrated, stay active. Um, and by staying healthy, it means a lot more than just physically healthy. It means staying mentally healthy. And I've got a lot of things that stress me out as far as work, and trying my best to take those things that are stressing me out and put them on a shelf. As hard as that is for me, I have to do that, and I have to walk away and just focus on myself and make sure to take time for myself. So, believe it or not, getting involved in doing things like the brain freeze and the fuck cancer shows, that's taking time for myself, because if I'm directing my energy towards something that's taking my mind off the stress, it's very healthy for me. So that's my advice. I thought this was going to be a quick one. It's more like a 17-minute quick one. But that's my advice to all my brain tumor fighters out there. Get active. Get active. And that's not just being athletic. That means get involved. Do something. It'll make you feel good, and it'll make you feel healthier. And you'll definitely go to bed knowing that you're helping make the world a little bit better. So that's an important thing for each and every one of you. I'm rooting for you. I'm pulling for you. And to all my brain tumor fighters out there, thank you for watching.